This is how one of the easiest wars for the Soviet Union became the most difficult. The Winter War. In August 1939, the Soviet Union, led by Joseph Stalin, entered into the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact with Nazi Germany. This non-aggression pact included secret protocols that delineated spheres of influence in Eastern Europe, designating Finland as falling within the Soviet sphere. The pact allowed both powers to pursue their territorial ambitions without interference from each other. For the Soviet Union, the strategic goal was to create a buffer zone to protect Leningrad, now St. Petersburg, from potential invasions. The proximity of Finland to Leningrad made it a strategic concern for Stalin. The Soviet leadership sought to secure control over territories bordering the Soviet Union, enhancing its defensive capabilities. On November 30th, 1939, the Soviet Union launched a surprise invasion of Finland. The Red Army, vastly superior in numbers and equipment, sought to quickly overcome Finnish resistance. However, the Finns, despite being outnumbered, employed effective guerrilla tactics and utilized their knowledge of the harsh winter conditions to mount a staunch defense. The invasion occurred shortly after the signing of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, catching the international community off guard. The Winter War, named for the severe winter conditions in which it unfolded, witnessed the clash between the massive Soviet war machine and the resourceful, adaptive Finnish forces. The Finns, adept at winter warfare, turned the harsh conditions to their advantage. They effectively used ski troops, mobile tactics, and their familiarity with the challenging terrain. The deep snow and freezing temperatures impeded the progress of the Soviet forces, whose equipment and training were not suited for such an environment. The Finns also leveraged their extensive network of forests and lakes, creating opportunities for hit-and-run attacks and ambushing the less mobile Soviet units. The winter environment, which posed logistical challenges for the Soviets, became a formidable ally for the Finnish defenders. Despite facing overwhelming odds, the Finnish military, known for its resilience and resourcefulness, inflicted significant casualties on the Soviet forces. The Finns adopted a defensive strategy, utilizing the natural landscape to slow down and disrupt the advancing Soviet troops. This resistance not only demonstrated the effectiveness of Finnish military tactics, but also showcased the determination of a smaller nation defending its independence. The Winter War volunteers, comprising individuals from various countries sympathetic to Finland's cause, joined the conflict to support the Finns. This international response reflected the widespread condemnation of Soviet aggression and the global sentiment favoring the Finnish resistance. International response. The Winter War evoked international sympathy for Finland, particularly in Western countries. The League of Nations, predecessor to the United Nations, condemned the Soviet Union's actions but was unable to take substantial measures to intervene. The conflict's impact reached beyond diplomatic circles, with volunteers from several nations traveling to Finland to join the fight against the Soviet invasion. These volunteers, often called the Winter War volunteers, included individuals from Scandinavia, the Baltic states, and other European countries. Their presence on the Finnish side emphasized the solidarity and support extended to Finland during this challenging period. Peace Treaty. The war concluded on March 13, 1940, with the signing of the Moscow Peace Treaty. While Finland retained its independence, the terms of the treaty were unfavorable. Finland ceded the Karelian Isthmus, which included the city of Viipuri, as well as parts of Salla and Petsamo. The territorial losses were a source of deep disappointment for the Finns and laid the groundwork for future conflicts. Continuation War. Dissatisfaction with the Moscow Peace Treaty and the changing dynamics of World War II led to the Continuation War, 1941 to 1944. Finland, aligning with Nazi Germany against the Soviet Union, sought to regain the lost territories. The conflict ended with the Moscow Armistice in 1944, resulting in Finland being again forced to cede territory but maintaining its independence. In retrospect, the Winter War remains a symbol of the resilience and determination of a smaller nation facing aggression from a much larger neighbor. Finland's successful defense, despite significant territorial losses, contributed to the nation's identity and its subsequent geopolitical choices during and after World War II.